Today, we're diving into the world of tech and exploring a topic that's been making headlines.
All right, so today we're going to really dig into this Stargate project. From what I'm reading here, it's pretty ambitious.
Yeah, you could say that, again, they're talking about building AI infrastructure on a scale we haven't really seen before.
Yeah, we've got this AP News article you sent over. It really lays it all out, and it looks like it's a joint venture between OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank.
That's right, a pretty powerful trio, and it seems like they've got the support of President Trump himself.
Which makes it even more interesting, especially with all this back and forth between Elon Musk and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman.
It's a real clash of the titans, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
On one side, you have Elon Musk, the driving force behind Tesla and SpaceX.
And on the other, you have Sam Altman leading OpenAI, the folks who created ChatGPT.
And they're both deeply involved in the world of AI, but they seem to have very different views when it comes to this Stargate project.
Definitely adds another layer to this whole thing. So let's break it down. What exactly is Stargate and what makes it so groundbreaking?
Well, in essence, Stargate is a massive investment in the future of AI. We're talking up to $500 billion.
Wow, that's serious money.
It is, and they're planning to use it to build the infrastructure needed to support the next wave of AI development. Think of it as laying the groundwork for a world where AI plays an even bigger role than it does today.
And their first move is building this huge data center in Abilene, Texas, right?
You got up. Abilene was chosen specifically for its access to diverse energy sources, which is going to be crucial for a project of this scale.
And this is more than just a tech industry thing. President Trump seems to be really pushing for this.
Oh, absolutely. He sees Stargate as a symbol of American leadership in the global AI race. He even went so far as to roll back some of those AI regulations, the AI guardrails, they were calling them, that were put in place by the previous administration.
I remember those. They were designed to kind of regulate AI development, make sure it was being used ethically.
Right. But repealing them sends a clear message. They want to push the limits of what's possible with AI. But of course, it's also raised concerns about potential risks and unintended consequences.
It's a gamble, for sure. And that's where Elon Musk comes in. He's not exactly on board with all this.
Not at all. He's been very vocal about his skepticism, particularly when it comes to SoftBank's involvement in the project.
So one of the major partners.
Exactly. Musk is claiming that they've overpromised and don't actually have the funds they've pledged, which, if true, raises some serious questions about the project's viability.
So we've got President Trump touting this as a major win for America, and Elon Musk basically saying it's a house of cards.
Pretty much sums it up. And naturally, Sam Altman isn't just sitting back. He fired back at Musk, directly refuting his claims and even inviting him to come see the progress being made at the Abilene site for himself.
Sounds like a bit of a challenge.
Oh, there's definitely some tension there. And it's not just about Stargate itself, you know?
You're saying there's more to this story.
There's a history between these two that goes way back to the early days of OpenAI when it was first founded.
I didn't realize it went back that far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It started as this nonprofit organization focused on research and responsible AI development. But as AI became more commercially viable, their focus shifted. They embraced this for-profit model, and that's where the rift between Musk and OpenAI began.
So Musk wasn't happy with his chance.
Let's just say he wasn't thrilled.
Nah.
He felt like they'd abandoned their original mission of developing AI safely and ethically in favor of chasing profits. It eventually led to him leaving OpenAI.
But it didn't end there, did it?
Nope, not by a long shot. Musk actually went on to file a lawsuit against OpenAI, claiming that they'd completely strayed from their initial goal of promoting safe AI.
So this lawsuit is still ongoing.
It is, and it adds a whole other dimension to this Stargate situation, you know? It highlights this fundamental disagreement they have about the role of profit in shaping the future of AI.
This is getting more and more interesting. So we've got the government backing this project, Musk questioning its feasibility, and this ongoing feud between these two tech giants who have very different views on how AI should develop.
What about Microsoft, though? They're pretty heavily involved with OpenAI, aren't they?
Yeah, they've invested a lot in OpenAI and they're closely partnered, but what's strange is they were completely absent from Trump's big Stargate announcement.
That is weird. You'd think they'd be front and center for something this big.
Right, it's like they're intentionally distancing themselves. And to add to the intrigue, Microsoft's CEO Satya Nadella has been very publicly confident about their own AI infrastructure plans, almost like he's saying, we don't need Stargate, we're doing just fine on our own.
Maybe a little dig at the whole funding controversy surrounding the project, especially with Musk's doubts about SoftBank. Could be. So yeah, we've got the drama, the political maneuvering, the big money. But let's take a step back for a second and look at the practical side of all this. AI requires a massive amount of energy that's a real concern, especially when we talk about sustainability. How does Stargate plan to address that? It's a critical question for sure. These data centers are going to be energy hogs. There's no way around it. Stargate's approach is to rely as much as possible on renewable energy sources.
So solar, wind power, that sort of thing.
Exactly. It's a way to try and minimize their carbon footprint and address the growing concern over the environmental impact of technology.
And all of this is happening in Abilene, Texas, not exactly known as a tech hub.
Yeah, it might seem like an odd choice at first glance. Why not build this in Silicon Valley or some other major tech center? But there's a reason they chose Abilene. It has access to a diverse mix of energy sources, not just oil and gas, but also solar and wind power.
So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Right, that mix of energy sources is crucial for a project like this. They need a reliable power supply, even if there are fluctuations in renewable energy generation. And it highlights this important shift that's happening in the tech world. Access to cheap and abundant energy is becoming more and more critical.
So it's not just about building data centers, it's about securing the energy to power them in a way that's both reliable and sustainable. This choice of location really highlights that.
Definitely. It's a strategic move that recognizes this growing need for energy security in the tech world.
So we've got this Stargate project already generating a lot of buzz and raising a lot of questions. What are the implications for the U.S. in this global AI race? How will Abilene, Texas be transformed if it becomes this hub for AI development? And what does this all mean for the future of open source AI? We'll dig into those questions and more in the next part of our deep dive.
So let's dig a little deeper into some of those questions and maybe start with Abilene itself. The article mentions that this Stargate site is meant to be more than just your typical data center.
Oh, really? So what are they building?
They're talking about a whole ecosystem for AI development. You know, they're building their own power generation, on-site advanced cooling systems, even R&D facilities.
So it's like a self-contained AI city almost.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's really something we haven't seen before in the tech world, and it shows you just how complex and resource-intensive AI development is becoming.
And the fact that this is all happening outside of the usual tech hubs like Silicon Valley, that's got to be significant, right?
Oh, definitely. It's a sign that the geography of innovation is changing, new centers of gravity are emerging.
Which makes you wonder about the impact on Abilene and the surrounding communities. Are they ready for this kind of transformation? Will they have the skilled workforce needed to support this new AI-driven economy?
Those are really important questions. The influx of investment and new jobs could be huge for the region, but it also requires careful planning, investment in education and workforce development. It's a chance for Abilene to really become a model for how to successfully integrate AI into a local economy.
Speaking of models, let's go back to the Musk-Altman feud for a minute. It seems like their disagreement goes beyond just this Stargate project. Like there's a deeper philosophical clash about the future of AI at play here.
You're right. At the heart of it all is this fundamental question: what role should profit play in the development of AI, with his lawsuit against OpenAI? He's arguing that this constant pursuit of profit is distorting AI development, leading to outcomes that could be harmful to humanity.
So basically, he's accusing OpenAI of selling out of their original vision of safe and ethical AI development just to make a quick buck.
That's the gist of it, yeah. He believes that AI should be treated as a public good, developed cautiously with a focus on the long-term benefit of humanity, not short-term financial gain.
And that's a view shared by a lot of people, right? People who are worried about the potential risks of unchecked AI development.
Absolutely. But OpenAI and Altman, they argue that they need to be profitable to compete in this field, to attract top talent, to fund cutting-edge research, to stay ahead of the curve. They're saying they need to be financially successful to have a real impact on the future of AI.
So they're saying in order to make a difference, in order to ensure that AI is developed responsibly, they need to be a major player, and that requires resources.
Right, and resources require financial viability. It's a tricky balance, this tension between open collaboration and the drive to be at the forefront of innovation.
It's fascinating, isn't it? On one hand, you have these ideals of open source AI, with knowledge and resources being shared freely. And on the other, you have these powerful corporations investing billions in AI research and development, driven by competition and profit.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile those two forces?
It's a tough question, and there's no easy answer. Finding the right balance is going to be crucial. We need to foster collaboration and open knowledge sharing, but also allow for healthy competition that drives innovation. And that's where government policy and regulation come in.
So you're saying governments have a key role in shaping the future of AI, not just by funding research, but by setting rules and guidelines to ensure responsible development.
Exactly. Regulations can help ensure that AI is developed ethically with safeguards in place to prevent potential harms. They can also create incentives for companies to invest in AI for good, addressing societal challenges and promoting equitable access to the benefits of AI.
Which brings us back to this Stargate project. It's not just about the technology. It's a political and economic move with potentially huge implications for the U.S. in this global AI race.
It is, if Stargate succeeds, it could really cement America's position as a leader in AI, attracting even more investment and talent. But if it fails, it could signal a loss of momentum and allow other nations to catch up or even surpass the U.S. in AI development.
So the stakes are high, and with Musk and Altman involved, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch it all play out. But beyond the personalities and the political side of things, we need to consider the technical details as well.
Yeah, let's get into that. What kind of data centers are we talking about here? What makes them different? And how will that translate into actual advantages in the AI race?
And what about the energy aspect the article mentioned, using a mix of traditional and renewable energy sources? But how will that work in practice? Are there technical challenges they'll need to overcome?
Great questions. And the answers really reveal a lot about the ambition and potential impact of this project. For instance, the data centers they're building in Abilene, they're not just big, they're designed for unprecedented scale and efficiency. They'll be able to handle massive amounts of data and run incredibly complex AI algorithms.
So it's not just about quantity. It's about having the right kind of servers, ones that are optimized for AI workloads.
Exactly. And then you have the energy mix, which is another crucial element. Abilene having access to both traditional sources like oil and gas and renewable sources like solar and wind. That's key.
So it gives them options.
Yeah, it provides redundancy and flexibility, ensures that they have a reliable power supply, even if there are fluctuations in renewable energy generation, which is important because AI training, teaching these AI systems, it requires huge amounts of energy delivered consistently over a long period.
So they're not just betting on the future of AI, they're betting on the future of energy as well.
You could say that the project's success depends on being able to power these massive data centers sustainably, and that means finding ways to integrate renewable energy sources effectively and efficiently. They're trying to build a model for how to power the AI-driven future.
It sounds like Stargate is this microcosm of the larger challenges and opportunities we're facing with AI. These questions of innovation, ethics, sustainability, global competition, it's all there.
It really is. And it's happening right now in real time. This isn't some theoretical debate about the future. It's a story unfolding right before our eyes with very real consequences.
So we've covered a lot of ground, the political drama, the technical challenges of powering these AI behemoths, but we've only scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore. And maybe the most important question we haven't fully addressed is, what does Stargate mean for the average person? How might this project impact their lives for better or for worse?
That's the question that really matters in the end. We'll delve into that and explore the potential societal impact of Stargate in the final part of our deep dive. Okay, so we've talked about the politics, the technical stuff, and those big personalities clashing over Stargate. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to how this project might affect everyday people, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where things get really interesting. I mean, on the surface, a giant data center in Texas might seem pretty far removed from most people's lives, but the reality is AI is already having a huge impact on us.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, it's everywhere.
It really is the algorithms that decide what we see on social media, the recommendations we get when we're shopping online, even the traffic lights in our cities. AI is behind so much of it.
So Stargate is basically taking that and ramping it up to a whole new level.
Stargate represents a massive leap in AI capabilities, and that has the potential to change our lives in ways we probably can't even imagine yet. Think about healthcare, for example.
Okay.
AI could analyze medical data way more efficiently, leading to earlier diagnoses, more personalized treatments, and maybe even cures for diseases that we can't beat right now.
I mean, that all sounds amazing, but couldn't that same power be used in harmful ways too? I mean, what about privacy surveillance, the potential for AI to be used for bad stuff?
Those are all valid concerns, and it's important to think about the potential downsides of AI for sure. Just like it can be used to improve healthcare, it could also be used to create even more sophisticated surveillance systems, automate jobs to the point where it displaces a lot of workers, and even develop autonomous weapons, which could be a huge threat.
So it's not just about whether AI is good or bad, it's about how we use it, right? And what safeguards we put in place to make sure it benefits everyone.
Exactly. Technology is just a tool, and any tool can be used for good or bad. It's up to us as a society to guide the development of AI and make sure it serves humanity.
Which brings us back to what we were talking about before, the importance of regulation and ethical considerations.
Absolutely. We need clear rules and guidelines to ensure transparency, accountability, fairness in how AI is developed and used. We need to be thinking about the potential consequences and work to minimize the risks.
And that responsibility doesn't just fall on governments, does it? The companies developing this technology have to step up too.
For sure, companies like OpenAI and Oracle, they need to think beyond just making money and consider the wider impact of their creations. They have to prioritize ethics and build safeguards into their systems from the very beginning.
This Stargate project is bringing up so many important questions. What do you think about the idea of Abilene becoming this new center for AI? Could it shift the balance of power away from Silicon Valley?
It's definitely an interesting possibility. If Stargate is successful and it attracts more investment and talented people to Abilene, it could have a ripple effect way beyond the project itself. We might see a whole new hub of AI innovation emerge, and that could challenge Silicon Valley's dominance and lead to a more geographically diverse tech landscape.
And what about open source AI? Could Stargate's focus on commercial development stifle the sharing of ideas and collaboration that's been so important for the field?
That's a good question, and I think that tension between open source AI and commercially driven AI is going to continue as the field grows. Stargate's success might give more power to commercial interests, but it could also inspire new open source projects as a kind of counterbalance. Who knows?
So it sounds like the future of AI and how it's going to affect our lives is still very much up in the air.
Yeah, that's what makes it so exciting. And a little scary, too. We're at a crossroads, and the decisions we make today will determine which path we go down.
Well, I think that's a good note to leave our listeners on today. We've explored this Stargate project from its political roots to its potential impact on society. But one thing's for sure. AI is here to stay, and its influence is only going to get stronger in the years to come.
It's a powerful tool with the potential to reshape our world. The big question is, will we use it wisely?
So to all our listeners out there, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep asking those tough questions. The future of AI is ultimately in our hands.